Hey everybody, welcome back to our second hour of the GOPRO World Tour, the Spanish-speaking edition around the world. Hope you're getting value. I know you are, because this information is really, really awesome. So we've got an action-packed hour. I've got lots of different people going to be sharing ideas with you, so let's just jump right in. One of my people who became dear friends is a global entertainment icon. This guy is an entrepreneur, he's an entertainer, he's a writer, he's a producer, he's a performer, he's a philanthropist, he's started charter schools around the world, he's a brand ambassador for lots of different brands. His name is Armando Christian Perez. Most of you know him as Pitbull, aka Mr. Worldwide. He took his life from negative to positive. He's just an unbelievable guy, and I'm proud to know him. We've had him speak at our events in the past, and I want to show you a brief clip from Mr. Armando Christian Perez. Pitbull.
My father, he won the lottery in Cuba. No money, he won freedom. They said, forget about anything that you got a chance to get out of here. That's basically what happened in my father's journey. Then he ends up in Miami, and he's a part of where I first seen entrepreneurship at its finest. He's a part of the drug game in Miami. That's when I first seen what entrepreneurship was. This is where I seen guys take nothing and make something. A lot of them didn't understand the journey. A lot of them didn't understand that drug money comes quick, leaves quicker. That's what allowed me to deal with the music game. Because my product is the same thing as, I got to make sure you guys get hooked one way or another. Yay or nay. And the product's got to be good. I can't give you something that's stepped on. So I took all those negatives that happened in my family and I applied it to music. Now applying it to music allowed me to understand the opportunity that music would give me. Because music, I go again, it's the same game. Only thing music gives you that's even worse than any drug that you could possibly push in the streets is this other drug called fame. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with fame. So as an entrepreneur, the minute that you think you are who you think you are, game over. You got to stay humble. You got to work hard. You got to stay focused. You have to want other people to grow around you. You can't keep people down and try to take credit for what other people do. You're just going to stay stagnant. You won't grow. Well, that's the music business. My whole career has been a no. My whole career has been a can't. My whole career has been a won't, shouldn't, wouldn't, never happen. It's happening right now as we speak with the records that I put out, which I love, by the way. I love to be challenged. I love to be knocked down. I love to get back up. I love to fight. I wake up for that. And no matter what level you get to in life, you can never become complacent or comfortable, because complacency is the cousin of death. I love to be up here and be able to speak about all the things that I've been through, all the failures, which I always say failure is the mother of all success. All the losses, and I say losing is only learning. Failure is only opportunity, and there's no problems, only solutions. If you can apply that to everything that you do daily, not only in business, but in life, oh man. They say the sky's the limit, right? No, sky's not the limit, because there's footprints on the moon. You can take it there.
So that's a little message from Pitbull. What a great guy, what a great leader, what a great entrepreneur. He also loves network marketing, loves the people involved in it. One of his favorite moments when we did our GoPro Recruiting Mastery, every time I talked to him, last time we were hanging out was in Germany. He and I were doing an event with Tony Robbins in front of 45,000 people last summer in Germany. And we went out to dinner afterwards, and he talked about this moment at GoPro Recruiting Mastery. We had problems with our translation headsets. Some of you may have been there. And we were translating into Spanish, but all of a sudden the Spanish translation went out. And people were whistling, hey, we can't understand, we can't understand. And he was talking. So finally he just said, screw it. And he just talked in Spanish to that crowd. And everybody just went, ah. Everybody went crazy. And it made him so excited to have the moment with the Spanish-speaking audience at GoPro that literally him and his road manager talk about it every single time. So anyway, obviously he's an ambassador for all Spanish-speaking, the whole Latino marketplace around the world, and all Spanish-speaking people around the world. Anyway, great guy. Our next speaker is Carlos Parra, great friend, top leader inside of network marketing. He wants to talk about how he's remained connected during this time of global crisis. It's a great training. Check it out. Carlos Parra.
Hola familia, es un placer saludarlos. Felicidades por conectarte, por seguir este camino de emprendimiento y ser parte de la solución que nuestro mundo requiere. Voy a compartir contigo algunos tips que nos han ayudado a tener un crecimiento importante con todas estas nuevas reglas. Primero que nada, mantén sana tu visión personal. Si tienes miedo o duda por todo este cambio económico y piensas que no hay dinero y que la gente no va a poder y que todo va a ser más difícil, entonces tu negocio se va a empezar a frenar. Y lo tendrás más difícil, y eso alimentará el miedo, y eso frenará aún más tu negocio, y se pondrá más difícil, y eso dará fuerza a tu duda, y es una espiral negativa, y además es una espiral equivocada. Porque puedes estar seguro de la mega oportunidad que tenemos, y darte cuenta que este es el mejor momento en la historia y en tu carrera, y no lo puedes dejar pasar, e inyectar toda esa energía a tu equipo. Date cuenta que hoy hay más dinero que nunca circulando en el mundo. Entre todos los países, en los últimos meses fabricaron 1 millón de millones de dólares. Lo voy a decir más lento. 1 millón de millones. Las personas que dependen de los negocios que están cerrados, claro que no están viendo ese dinero y lo están pasando mal, porque la gente no está comprando más en esas tiendas. La gente ahora está comprando en los negocios que funcionan por internet. Hay todo un nuevo comportamiento de compra. Y si bien es cierto que existe una situación complicada, no todo el mundo está viviendo una situación complicada. Solo aquellos que no tienen manera de trabajar desde su casa tienen problemas financieros. ¿Qué es mucha gente? Sí. Por eso, hoy más que nunca, la gente necesita emprender. Pero como nunca lo ha hecho, no sabe ni qué hacer ni cómo hacerlo. Y ahí es donde entras tú. Este es el momento de mayor reclutamiento de distribuidores en la historia de tu organización. Y eso nos lleva al segundo punto. Somos la esperanza para la gente. Robert Kiyosaki, en el último GoPro en el que participó, dijo que la esperanza para la próxima crisis estaba en el network marketing. Bien, esta es la próxima crisis y tú eres la esperanza. Los líderes de network marketing son los únicos con la capacidad de entrenar y ayudar a poner en marcha a miles de personas con un negocio serio por menos de $1,000. Así que levántate y toma acción, que el mundo te necesita. Vamos al tercer consejo. Mantente en contacto con tus líderes. Puedes ver a tu equipo en actividad y movimiento y no tener idea de lo que está pasando por sus mentes. Igual que un virus, la negatividad es altamente contagiosa y enferma la visión, y su efecto es adormecedor y paralizante. Tu equipo está rodeado todos los días de gente asustada, hablando de escasez, que es difícil, que no se puede, y es posible que esa negatividad entre en ellos y empiecen a quitar el pie del acelerador. Lo que nosotros hicimos fue aumentar nuestras llamadas personales con algunos líderes y encontramos varios nudos mentales o emocionales que no sabíamos que estaban ahí y los pudimos desenredar y reconectar la visión. Y esto lo estamos haciendo ahora de manera constante porque esos nudos son como los cables de los audífonos. Si los desenredas, pero al momento de seguir trabajando se van a volver a enredar y con ellos enredas su visión, su mensaje, su energía y su grupo. Pero después de afinar su visión, vimos que su actividad y productividad aumentó como en 20%. Siguiente consejo, adoptar el cambio en la forma de trabajar. Hay personas que lo resisten y otros que lo aprovechan. Veo gente todavía tratando de visitar personas a sus casas o sentados, esperando el momento de llenar salones nuevamente. Y veo otros que han tomado tanta ventaja del cambio que no quisieran que la cuarentena terminara nunca. Adaptarse al cambio. De Eric Worre, aprendí a programar mi calendario 18 meses por adelantado. Mi 2020 completo estaba tapizado de giras visitando distintas ciudades cada fin de semana. Luego vino esta nueva situación, se cancelan los vuelos, se suspenden los eventos. De inmediato comenzamos a adaptarnos y a mover todo a internet. Lo que hicimos fue que las citas personales las movimos al Zoom y los eventos y entrenamientos por Facebook Live o YouTube Live. Lo sorprendente fue que con el nuevo cambio del nuevo programa en línea, en menos de 45 días, habíamos trabajado con todas las ciudades que pensábamos ver a lo largo del año. Y alcanzamos más gente, porque se conectaron personas de poblaciones que no estaban programadas en las giras. Y la gente de las poblaciones más alejadas y de los grupos más pequeños, ahora tienen conexión directa con sus líderes de grupo y se están desarrollando mucho mejor. Ante este cambio, veo 3 comportamientos en los grupos. Los paralizados, que esperan que todo pase y vuelva a lo que era antes para entonces seguir trabajando. Esos grupos se empiezan a desinflar. Los que siguieron el cambio, pero no apretaron el paso ni aflojaron tampoco. Sus negocios generan lo mismo que otros meses. Y los que creyeron que tienen la solución, que ven la oportunidad y que entraron en acción como nunca antes y que han logrado en 3 meses más de lo que habían logrado en 2 años. Y eso me lleva al siguiente consejo: construir un negocio en línea. Nosotros iniciamos un programa para educar a la gente a utilizar los medios digitales, desde descargar, instalar aplicaciones hasta cómo pueden conectarse. Mucha gente no estaba envuelta en cómo usar la tecnología y cuando la gente no está acostumbrada a usar las funciones del teléfono o la computadora, puede llevarte 30 minutos enseñarle qué hacer y cómo hacerlo. Y hablar sobre educar a toda una organización pareciera una tarea titánica, pero si cada persona que sí le entiende cómo hacerlo le enseña a 5 o a 10, puedes educar a toda la organización en cuestión de algunos días. Otra clave de los negocios en línea está en provocar la actividad de forma constante para hacerle más fácil a la gente de nuevo ingreso a través de eventos y herramientas para que simplemente puedan acercar invitados y crecer mientras aprenden. Algunos grupos que antes tenían un evento en salón por semana, ahora tienen presentaciones de oportunidad cada 3 días. Otros grupos tienen oportunidad de presentar diario. Y eventualmente programan campañas especiales de actividad intensa, campañas de 7 días, de 10 días. Las campañas pueden ser sobre lograr un rango, o promover un producto, o promover un evento, o una meta de equipo, o simplemente generar historias. Y bien, luego de las presentaciones, quiero darte un punto sobre manejo de objeciones: el dinero. La gente tiene miedo a gastarse lo último que tienen y tienen razón. Con la incertidumbre no saben cuándo volverán a tener algo. Ahí debes de explicar por qué tu producto tiene una verdadera utilidad. Pero aunque sea de alta calidad, para ellos sigue siendo un gasto, a menos que lo vean como una opción para multiplicar ese dinero. El miedo es entendible, no conocen el negocio y es un riesgo. Y ahí tenemos que ser muy responsables en hacer un compromiso sincero en ayudarles a poner su negocio en marcha. Porque pondrán su confianza en ti, no en la empresa. Recuerda que la gente participa en las empresas, pero se asocia a las personas. Hace el compromiso de ayudarle a vender los productos y poner su negocio en marcha para recuperar, multiplicar su dinero y salir adelante. Y si siente ese respaldo, estará dispuesto a poner su dinero o conseguirlo. Debemos ayudar al mundo a salir de esta crisis. Es urgente llegar a más personas, apoyarlos y trabajar juntos. Porque, sinceramente, creo que quien no tenga la manera de generar dinero desde su casa, se le vendrá una temporada muy difícil. Ganar dinero desde la casa se está convirtiendo en una necesidad y en el nuevo normal. Y debemos mostrar a la gente que pueden o comer algo con su último dinero o pueden multiplicar ese dinero. Es como si solamente les quedara una gallina y decidir si la hacen caldo o usarla para poner huevos, es decir, multiplicarlo. Y por último, uno de mis consejos favoritos: promover eventos. La publicidad básicamente es mantener una idea constantemente en la mente de tu cliente. Los eventos es nuestra mejor forma de mantener al equipo conectado y exponiéndose a nuestra visión, sean inscritos o sean prospectos. Conectados hasta que decidan inscribirse. Luego, conectados hasta que decidan ponerse en actividad. Y después, conectados hasta que decidan irse realmente a lo grande. Y enviar un WhatsApp no es promover, eso es avisar. La gente tiene que escuchar tu emoción. Puedes hacer un video invitándolos a algún evento, pero llamarle a las personas, nunca nada será tan poderoso como una llamada personal. Que sienta que él o ella es importante para ti. Pero no llamadas fastidiosas como si vendieras tarjetas de crédito diciéndoles, nada más te hablo para recordarte el evento. No. Una llamada donde aportes el valor del evento para decirle por qué le conviene, edificar al orador, edificar el contenido, darle la importancia de lo que va a recibir y el beneficio que viene luego al aplicar lo que aprenda. Entre más gente tengas conectada y más veces se conecten a los diversos eventos, tu negocio irá en constante desarrollo. Bien, yo me despido. Muchas gracias, Eric, Marina y el equipo de GoPro por empoderar nuestra profesión y hacer posible este espacio y darme el honor de esta participación. Ha sido un placer compartir contigo. Sigue invitando, sigue ayudando y sigue llevando este mensaje de esperanza y de luz a una vida mejor y siendo esa gente de cambio que el mundo necesita. Les envío a todos un muy fuerte abrazo y bendiciones.
Well, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that very much. And there's another gentleman, his name is Pete Vargas, who we were introduced to recently, and Pete is an expert on how to tell your story, how each of you can learn how to tell your story more effectively and more powerfully. And he's got a section, a training section that I think you're going to get tremendous value from on learning how you can tell your story inside of network marketing. So without taking up any more of his time, I'm going to take you directly to Pete Vargas.
My goal right now for all of you is to help you understand how to communicate. How you communicate today looks different than even how you communicated 3 weeks ago. And I want to give you that framework today, whether you're on social, whether you're on a podcast, whether you're on a phone call, whether you're on your team meetings. I want to give you a framework today that I believe is going to help you serve and help a lot of people who need your help today. And I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to Eric and Marina for having me here today. I don't take it lightly, but thank you to the industry. I know you don't know me, but when I was 19 years old, 19 years old, I had to figure out how to pay for my college education. I was broke. I was walking around campus. I just had a really bad crisis happen in my life, and I had made it on college campus, but I didn't know how I was going to continue to sustain college campus. And I'm grateful because network marketing, multi-level marketing got me through college. It's the reason I got through college. I wouldn't have gotten through college without it. I believe it's one of the greatest industries that exists because it gives the average human being on this planet the opportunity to start a business without hundreds of thousands of dollars. But like Tony said in his interview there, for a few $100s. And so what I want to do today is I want to help you understand, and this is my give back to the industry, I want to help you understand how to communicate. What I'm about to teach you, it's the same thing that we showed Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins as we helped them build out their speaking team. It's the same thing that we shared with Grant Cardone and his team that made them license this content that I'm about to share with you. It's the same thing that we've shared with so many of the people that we work with, some of the biggest thought leaders on planet Earth, including Damon John, who was taking notes ferociously as we sat there and helped him understand how to communicate more powerfully. Those are all folks that we work with. And I'm excited to bring this to the tens of thousands of people today because I believe today, right now, is probably the greatest opportunity in the history of network marketing and multi-level marketing to be able to serve and help a lot of people. But you cannot do it the way that it's been done. Because I'm a part of the industry, I still continue to get recruited on occasion. And the conversation and the communication typically lives in one bucket. And there are 3 ways that you cannot communicate today. If you communicate in any of these 3 ways that I'm about to show you, it will actually do more damage than it does good. And so I want to help you understand how not to communicate with these 3 C's, but ultimately communicate with this C. And so what I want you to know is I shared this story with Eric and Marina, and what I shared with them is one of the things that we were able to do is Grant Cardone, we sat in Grant's office just like we got the chance to sit at Eric and Marina's house, and Grant's like, this content is amazing. Like, we want to license this. And so they licensed all of our digital resources and they licensed the workshop. And we were at the very first workshop, and I want you to see this because this is one of the deadly C's. I was at this workshop and there were about 30 people in the room, and me and the gentleman that Eric just talked about, Pat Quinn, Said, all right, everybody go around and in 1 minute, introduce yourself. You got 1 minute. And so everybody started going. And while people are going, I'm seeing how powerful of a communicator they are. Because I'm going to give every one of you in the framework where in 3 minutes, you will have people asking you questions and wanting to know more about you and having you want to go deeper with them here in just a minute. But what happened in that day is people are going around, everybody's going around, and then one young lady gets up, and this is what she says. She said, what if I could show you an opportunity of how you could make more money and lose weight? And a lot of you right now are chuckling across the world because you're like, yeah, immediate red flag, immediate wall, immediate defense went up in that room. I didn't know it went up, but I felt it in myself. And I hadn't stopped anybody along any line thus far. I hadn't stopped anybody. And I stopped her. And I felt like I wanted to coach her. And I didn't want to embarrass her. And I said, I can't remember her name, but I said, young lady, are you in a network marketing company? Are you in a multi-level marketing company? And she said, yeah. How did you know? How did I not know? That is the way that the majority of people try to recruit me and recruit the world, and immediately a wall goes up, defense goes up, and red flags go up. And we began to reshape it and said, listen, I'm not, and then by the way, I told her that, I said a red flag went up and a wall went up and the defense went up right away. 29 other extremely successful business owners in that room, all of a sudden, and I didn't know they were going to do this, raised their hand and said, yeah, me too. A wall went up for me too. I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I meant to do. My heart was to help coach her. So I said, guys, I want you to see the power of this framework that we're about to coach her in. And so I worked with her. Pat Quinn worked with her. I know you don't know Pat Quinn, but he's a part of our team. And a couple of hours later, we did like a 90-minute masterclass with her and the people in the room. And then she came in front of stage later because everybody had to present their 2 to 3 minute talk. I think it was a 3-minute talk. And she started like this. She said, from the age of 5 years old until 12 years old, all I could remember was being bullied and abused for being a chunky little kid. And all my life, I tried to figure out all the things I could do to change that because it hurt bad. It really hurt. I remember when Billy did this to me when I was in 2nd grade. I remember this story in 6th grade. I remember this story in 9th grade. And nothing worked. I was trying everything. And then she went on to continue to tell the story. And you could hear a pin drop in the room. And you felt goosebumps just like I have right now on my arm. You see, there are 3 deadly C's that I believe in the midst of what's going on in this C, meaning this crisis, that if you fall into these 3 C's, you might get some short-term wins, but it ain't going to be long-term success for you in the way that you communicate. So the 3 ways that I do not want any of you to communicate today, number 1 is what we corrected her on. And what was that? What was she doing? I call it the cheesy communication of network marketing. Eric knows this, Marina knows this. We're on a mission to stamp these 3 C's out, but especially the cheesy communication of network marketing. We are on a mission to stamp that out. So right now, it is not a time to be cheesy or be cheeseball or talk like that. And I think a lot of people who are part of this community, you've learned from Eric and Marina, so you understand that. But I want to reinforce that. It is not a time to start being cheesy in your communication. And by the way, good economy or bad economy, I want that to get rid of. I want that to get rid of. So first C that we got to get rid of is that. The second C, and these all came to me. Right now, in this time and age, you feel like you can cut to the chase. That's the second C, cut to the chase. My neighbor lost their job. I've seen tons of people firing or having to lay off people, not fired, but lay off people. And all of a sudden they feel like now is the opportunity. I just got to cut to the chase because I want to help them. And you cut to the chase and a wall goes up immediately again. This imaginary wall that you can't see, she couldn't see, but everybody else in the room felt. And so it's not a time to just cut to the chase. We'll get there, but we can't cut to the chase. That's the second C in this economy that you might be tempted to do. Hey, laid off? Let's talk. No. Laid off? That's why you should have been working at home. No. Laid off? Don't have a job? We can help. Like, let's be really cautious there. Let's be cautious there because that's the second C that maybe gets a little bit of short term, but it ain't going to have long term. And the third C, and this one is super important right now for you to understand. You cannot try to lead with the C, which is cash. Once again, you might be tempted to lead with, hey, cash, 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 cash. No. Do not lead with that C. So cheesy, I want no market. Cutting to the chase and cash might work in other markets, but it ain't going to work today. And you're going to turn more people off than you turn them on to what you're doing. And right now, you all have the power in your hand to literally shift what's happening in our world today. You have the power in your hand to help people rise up in the midst of chaos and crisis and fear if you communicate well, if you communicate powerfully. And so what is the C, Pete? Okay, I'm not going to be cheesy. I got to figure this out. I'm not just going to cut to the chase. I'm not going to lead with cash, meaning leading with the financial opportunity. What do you need to do, Pete? Well, let me first give you a little bit of a context of the story, because if you get this story, which was another crisis time just in our nation, which was America, but I know we have people from all across the world, you will understand the C in a very powerful way that you have to use in your communication. You see, what you don't know about me is I had a terrible, terrible relationship with my dad. Awful. Abusive dad growing up to me. My grandmother took me away from him when I was in 6th grade because of the things he was doing to me physically, mentally, emotionally, every which way. My grandmother took me away from him and said, you're never going back to live with your dad. Now you fast forward several years and I'm a youth pastor. I'm 23 years old. I'm bringing in these powerful speakers into my youth group. And one of those speakers that I decided to bring in, his daughter was the first girl killed at Columbine. Any of you remember that, 1999 Columbine? His daughter was the first girl killed at Columbine. And she died, and the month before she was killed, she wrote a paper called My Ethics, My Codes of Life. And she had 6 diaries. And in this paper and this ethics that she wrote for her 5th period English class, she said, I have this theory that if one person will go out of their way to show compassion, that it'll start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness will go. Yeah, you might have caught into the C that I'm going to talk about here for a little bit, but what I want you to know about her is she stood for that in her paper, and her 6 diaries were her life's journey of how she lined up and she actually lived that message out. And so this man comes into my community. He speaks. I'm 23 years old. My dad hasn't said anything to me really about what he had done to me in the last 10 years. He's in this building. He's actually present. He's live. He's watching. I'm thinking maybe this will move my dad to take action and apologize. And at the end of the presentation, after that man, and this is very, very important, everybody, after that man said, hey, parents in the room, you have no idea how long your kids are going to be here or you're going to be on this earth with your kids. I want you to go tell your kids tonight how much you love them. And some of you need to go ask them for forgiveness. for something that you've done to them. And literally that night, my dad went and wrote me a letter. He said, I'm sorry for the father I've been. Here, my son is having an impact on hundreds of kids' lives, and I can't have an impact on my only son's life. I'm asking you for a second chance to do things right. And he told me he loved me for the first time in over a decade. My wife and I were weeping and we were crying as we read this letter. He took the man up on his challenge and actually went out and did something about it, took action, because the man led with compassion. And he shared his daughter's story of compassion. And now, for the first time in my dad's life, after lots of people trying to recruit him to make things right with me, finally, the very first time somebody led with compassion, my dad heard it and he took action. If you want people to take action right now, you have to lead with compassion. You have to lead in this market with empathy. You cannot be driven by the cheesiness or the cut to the chase or the cash. You got to lead with compassion. That is what you got to do right now. And I want to share one more story about him. In 1999, our nation was scared. I don't know if Eric and Marina remember this, but we had a nation that was really scared because we had our first major school shooting. And I'm not comparing it to today, but I'm comparing what I'm about to say to today. Back then, everybody was talking and complaining and scared to death. Parents weren't sending their kids to school, and they were afraid. And everybody was pointing the finger and taking blame and blaming everybody else, and there was all this finger pointing. And this man chose not to finger point. He chose to make a decision to forgive the two boys who took his daughter's life. And he went and took this message out to compassion out into the world, which we helped him do. And literally, you fast forward several years and they became the biggest school program in schools across the world, taking this idea of compassion out to the world. Right now, the way that you've got to lead in recruiting more people into your business, because listen, they need in your business. Like, I hope that these next 6 months are the biggest 6 months in the history of this industry. Now, I also hope that the world shifts and changes, but I believe all of the seeds that you plant in the course of the next 6 or 9 months for the rest of this year, leading with compassion, will set you up to be so successful. So successful. Right now, you've got a pace with them before you lead them into your company. What is pace? You got to pace with empathy and compassion right now, because people want to hear that you understand how they're feeling. They want to understand and know that you know what it's like right now to walk in their shoes. And so I want to give you a couple of practical things that you can do before I wind this down and bring Eric back here in just a second. I want to give you a couple of things that you can do. And so we have this proprietary process called the Story Braid Framework. And I'm only going to talk about one piece of the framework, which is the heart. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the framework. I'm just going to talk about the opening heart. Like right now, if you can lock and center in on the hearts of humans and lead with compassion, be the one who communicates with compassion, and you win that heart, they will be in your business. They will be a distributor. They will be a customer, more likely a distributor in today's markets, really. But you got to understand how to communicate. And so it starts by winning their heart. Let me give you a few practical things of how you communicate with compassion to lead and win over their heart. The first thing you have to do right now in this market is communicate in a way that helps people understand that you know what they're going through. Not about your business opportunity, not about your product. Like, man, the world is hurting. They're losing jobs. They're losing their finances. Like, you've got to make sure they understand that they can find themselves in you. Like, that you can connect with their heart immediately. Like, connect with their heart immediately by making sure you're actually real and transparent and compassionate and communicating in a way that helps them understand that you know what they're feeling. People don't care how much you know. They want to know that you care. Maya Angelou has an incredible quote that I love around that. They'll forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And if you feel cheesy, if you feel cutting to the chase, and if you feel cash driven, they will pick up on that, and the wall and red flag will go up in their subconscious. You want to break that wall down? I'm giving you the power, and I'm trusting that you guys will do this in an authentic and sincere way. Is you've got to first connect with their heart by them understanding that you know what it's like to be walking in their shoes. Whether you're putting out content on social, you're recruiting people to come to some of your conference calls, like the messaging has to be that. The second thing you want to do with this heart, the second thing you want to do is now their guards are down a little bit because you've connected with them. People now are more open to having conversation, and they don't want to see that you're this extraordinary person driving this amazing car, living in this incredible house, debt-free, set for life, semi-retired. That's not the conversation that's going to happen now. They want to know that you're ordinary and that you've walked in their shoes before. And you've got to know what their shoes are right now. Listen to the market right now of where it's at. I'm asking people, how do you feel right now? Like, what is your biggest concerns? I'm asking our community that, and they're telling me. And as they tell you and you listen, those are the words that you've got to hear, because you've got to make sure that you relate that you are ordinary and that you've walked in their shoes before, that you've faced crisis before, that you've went through it before. And then, and only then, do they want to know that you're extraordinary and that you've gone somewhere that they want to go, but it was from some place of crisis or difficult times or hardship. It doesn't have to be a financial crisis. It could be a relational crisis. It could be a health crisis. It could be something that shifted it and turned it around. Once they know that you are ordinary, they then want to know that you've done something extraordinary, because that's ultimately where they want to be. But they don't want to be there until they know that you know what it's like to walk in their shoes today. Man, I hope you guys grasp that. I really hope that you get that, because that is an incredible piece. And so the second thing that you want to do in this opening heart is the ordinary and extraordinary. Make sure people understand that you've been walked through that, but you've gone somewhere that they want to go, because now that's going to open up the conversation with them beginning to ask you questions. And the third and final thing that you want to do just in this opening heart, I'm not even talking about the head, the hands, the heart. I just wanted to bring you one nugget around the opening heart. One nugget around the opening heart. The last thing that you want to do in these times is do a little digging and ask yourself, what is my why right now? What is my why? What is my why? Like, what is my why? And here's the criticalness to this. You want other people to find themselves in your why. And so my why is that I want to help our community get on a million stages by 2027 to share their messages and their stories with the world. And now I've even shifted a little bit to say, I want to help our community get on a million stages by 2027. And the number one stages that they're going to get on is our virtual and digital stages, because there is an abundance of them that they can do straight from their own home. And here's what happens is, if you can have an empathetic and compassionate why that you can have in conversations with people, they will find themselves in your why. If they find themselves in your why, they start asking the question, how do I work with you? How can you help me? What can we do? I need help. I want to be that extraordinary. They're not going to use the word extraordinary, but I want to move from that ordinary position you were in to go into the extraordinary. And I want to be one of those people in your why. That's the third thing that you want to do in this opening heart. When you begin to do those three things, the game shifts. The game shifts. People feel connected to. They feel out of isolation. They don't feel depressed. They don't feel anxious. They feel connected. They feel heard. They feel loved. And they've now come in and said, tell me more. I want to close with this story before I bring Eric back up. I told you that network marketing got me through college after a really hard hardship. But what I didn't tell you is that I played collegiate tennis, and my grandmother went and worked another job just to help get me through college because my parents didn't have the money to help me with college. My grandmother went and worked another job. I got a small little college scholarship. I got a little bit of a Pell Grant, and that's how I got through college. And I was playing collegiate tennis. And one day I'm going out to my car to go and drive to tennis practice. All my rackets are in there. My car's in the parking lot of my college campus, Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas. And I go and I find and look for my car, and I can't find my car. Well, what I come to find out is that my car had been repossessed. And it was the gift that my dad had given to me, but my dad wasn't able to afford the payments, and he didn't tell me that. My rackets were gone. My car was gone. I was in tears. I didn't know how I was going to make it now. Like, I had no transportation, no tennis rackets. I was already struggling to be on that college. I decided to go last minute because I had some friends really, really encourage me to do that. And then I ran into a lady in my church. And a lady in my church didn't get cheesy with me. A lady in my church didn't shortcut things or try to take a shortcut. A lady in my church didn't cut to the chase or lead with money. A lady in my church was compassionate, and she heard me. She actually gave me some money to be able to get food. And she supported me just helped me. Her and her family, her family became like an extension of my family. And they loved me. They didn't play the short game. And then one day she just told me about this incredible thing that she was a part of. And it was a no-brainer for me to ask her, tell me more about that. Because as Les Brown would say, I was hungry. And that was the very first network marketing company that I ever got in. And I can remember it. I can remember the second one and the third one. And I can remember what network marketing did to get me through college because of someone not being cheesy, someone not cutting to the chase, someone not talking about all of the cash stuff that I could get, but someone leading with compassion. You lead with compassion, industry. You lead with compassion. All of you walk around the world as you communicate that heart and you communicate to their heart. What you will begin to see is you will begin to see more distributors, more customers, more volume, more impact, and you will be responsible, a little piece of helping restore the world's economy that's hurting right now. But it's industries like this that are going to change that.
So thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. And listen, Pete's helped me, he's helped Marie, and he's helped a lot of people inside of network marketing and around the world learn how to tell your story. I hope you took the notes and you learn how to emotionally tell your story so people understand why you're doing what you're doing. It's going to help you get better results. Now, one of the things I've learned over the course of my career is that success loves speed. It's not enough to just be involved. Everybody's got to have a little bit more passion and attitude. So the first thing I would tell you is you need to think bigger. Most of you are playing too small. The world is not served by you playing small. Think bigger. Whatever your goals are, expand those goals. Whatever your passions, expand the passion. The vision, expand the vision. Think bigger than you ever thought possible. Number 2 is you need to be stronger. Stop being so weak. Stop complaining so much. Stop whining about your problems and be stronger than your circumstance. Be stronger than people around you. Be stronger than your environment. And the third thing is to move faster. Just to move faster. Success loves speed. There's velocity. There's momentum. There's excitement. There's something that happens when you move quickly, when you take action, when you take a step, all right? When you learn how to build a social media, use social media to build your business, when you learn how to recruit people in bunches, you know, number 1, give yourself permission to think bigger. Number 2, challenge yourself to be stronger, but move. Success loves speed. Move. Take a step. Take an action. Say yes. Say yes. Then tell the world. And then figure it out. Stop living with your small goals and your small thinking. It's time to expand that. So I told you we're going to let you know about kind of a package that we have available to you. And when I describe this to you, it's either going to be a fit for you or it's not. And I will tell you, some of you are going to say, you know what? I don't have the money for this. I would challenge that thinking. If this is important enough to you, you'll find the money. You'll figure it out. You'll get together with somebody else. You'll bundle it together. You'll buy it with somebody else. You'll solve the problem. Others of you will let the problem be bigger than your future. But we have something in Spanish for you that we're going to make available today only. This is a very special offer. It's only going to be available for this group and for a very short period of time. We have the following. How to recruit 20 people in 30 days. This is a home study course. And recruiting 20 people in 30 days changed my life. I've taught thousands of people around the world how to recruit 20 people in 30 days. I want you to think about, what would that do for your life if you were able to recruit 20 people in 30 days? What would that do for your career? What would that do for your income? What would that do for all different aspects of your life positive? In this course, it's 5 video training sessions. There's a workbook. There's a list builder. This is a $300 product. This is part of this bundled course that we're providing to you today. How to recruit 20 people in 30 days. Second course that you get access to, all in Spanish, is a social media mastery course. This is 7 video training courses. This includes a workbook. There's bonus videos. There's worksheets. There's downloads. This is a $500 course. This is the second most popular course that we've ever created here at Network Marketing Pro. So how to recruit 20 people in 30 days, and the social media mastery course, that's like $800 worth of courses. Now, we're going to make this available. The team got together. We wanted to make this a really easy decision. You can get both courses for $399 if you pay in full, or 3 monthly payments of $149. Either $399 or 3 payments of $149. And if you pay in full, they've got bonus materials, mastering objections in network marketing. If you've ever been stuck with objections, that home study course. And we have an interactive social media calendar that teach you how and what to post on social media. Now, with all of this, it's worth, I don't know, $1,200. You can get all of it for $399 or 3 payments of $149 if payments work better for you. So if you click on the link that's connected to this page, it'll take you to all of that, explain it all to you. All of this is in Spanish, and it will change your life. This information will change your life. You want to stop crawling in network marketing? Go learn how to recruit 20 people in 30 days and then go do it. Learn how to be able to reach more people through social media and then go do it. Learn how to overcome any objection in network marketing and then go do it. All of this stuff is available to you, okay? So you'll see it connected to this page for the entirety of this program. I just want to get you the information so you know about it, okay? Now, before I get to Ada Caballero, I just want to tell you, kind of quick recap. Number one, focus on activity, not on perfection. You know, don't worry about being perfect. Most of the learning is in the doing. Get the skills necessary to recruit 20 people, to master social media, to learn how to build your network marketing business, and then stay connected. Stay connected with training information, what we're doing, with what your organization is doing. It's going to help you build a business. So, our last presenter for this hour is Ada Caballero. This woman really knocked it out of the park in her business, and she's fearless, absolutely fearless in how she's built her business, and she's going to share 7 deadly sins of network marketing. So Ada, go ahead.
Hola, 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 hola familia, ¿cómo están? Muchísimas gracias, Eric, por haberme invitado a este movimiento de GoPro. Estoy muy feliz de compartir unas herramientas con todos ustedes. Y bueno, yo les voy a hablar el día de hoy de los errores que nosotros cometemos, ¿verdad? Horrores que cometemos nosotros en nuestro crecimiento y en nuestro trabajo como networkers. Y te voy a hablar del primer error. Tratar de volver a un líder a alguien que no lo quiere ser. Muchas veces nosotros tenemos la necesidad y el hambre de crecer y queremos que todo el mundo sea parte de nuestro negocio, pero no todos tienen la capacidad o no todos quieren hacerlo, porque la capacidad la tiene todo el mundo cuando está disponible a aprender, pero no todo el mundo está disponible o quiere aprender. Por eso es bien importante que tú no trates de volver a un líder que no lo quieres ser, porque te vas a cansar y vas a estar cargando con esa persona que no lo quieres ser. Otro de los errores muy comunes que nosotros cometemos es no hacer las preguntas correctas al prospecto. Quizá él solamente quiere probar tu producto o tus servicios, pero tú ya lo quieres hacer un líder o quizá tú ya lo quieres ponerlo a entrenar, ya lo quieres que vaya a los entrenamientos, que ya esté conectado constantemente y la persona no quiere. Por eso haz las preguntas correctas. Esto te va a evitar dolores de cabeza, te va a evitar tiempo y vas a estar siempre feliz y ellos también van a estar felices. El error número 3 que la gente comete es no concentrarse en la importancia del producto. Necesitas conocer tu producto, necesitas saber qué se siente de tu producto o tu servicio, porque si tú no conoces tu producto, ¿cómo vas a hablar con amor, con pasión de lo que él hace, de lo que él siente? Quizá le digas a la persona, mira, este jugo sabe a piña, y cuando realmente sabe horrible. Y la gente va a decir, esta persona me mintió. Pero ¿qué tal si tú dices, no hombre, esto está delicioso, sabe una mezcla de frutas? La gente hasta se lo saborea. Por lo tanto, es importante que tú sepas que a la gente no se le puede engañar. Por lo tanto, tienes que conocerlo, saber aroma, saber sabor. ¿Cómo te sientes? Igual en los servicios. Si tú no sabes explicar los servicios, la gente se molesta. Recuerda que a la gente es a la última en que podemos engañar. Y el error número 3 es no concentrarse, el error número 4 es exagerar los resultados. ¿Sabes una cosa? La mayoría de la gente pierde porque se emociona mintiendo, exagerando, inflando lo que hace el producto, lo que hacen los servicios, exagerando en las cantidades que van a generar o decirles que este negocio es fácil o que lo van a hacer part-time o que son dueños de su tiempo. Yo te voy a decir algo. Si yo quiero el compromiso de la gente, yo le hablo con la verdad desde un principio. Porque si tú les mientes, si tú les exageras, o si tú les dices que es fácil y cuando ellos llegan se dan cuenta que no es fácil, que se requiere tiempo, dedicación para aprender y sobre todo que van a estar constantemente liderados para ellos crecer. Y si tú les dijiste todo lo contrario, se van a sentir engañados. Por lo tanto, habla con la verdad y no exageres ni los resultados del producto ni tus resultados. No le digas que tú ya generas X cantidad cuando todavía no. Es mejor que desde un principio hables. Quizá tú estés empezando este negocio y no tiene nada de malo decir que mira, juntos en este proyecto vamos a llegar al éxito si nos desarrollamos. Pero si tú le mientes y cuando esta persona se dé cuenta que no conoces de esta industria y que tus resultados no son lo que les dijiste, créeme que la decepción es grande. Por lo tanto, no cometas ese error. Error número 5, promover que esto es libertad de tiempo y que lo va a poder hacer cuando quiere y como él quiera. Si es verdad que como networkers nosotros tenemos la oportunidad de decidir nuestros horarios, cuando trabajamos y cuando no. Pero si tú le vendes a la persona que no va a hacer nada y que va a tener libertad de tiempo para hacer todo lo que ella quiera, déjame decirte que entonces no va a haber crecimiento en su red porque no va a haber compromiso, que al cabo yo soy dueña de mi tiempo, no necesito trabajar. No, a mí me dijeron que yo soy aquí, pues soy una empresaria y yo lo hago en mi tiempo. Y déjame decirte que si no hay el compromiso de estudiar, de salir a hacer, y esto se requiere tiempo y energía, señores. Recuerda esto, tiempo y energía. Si tú le dices que va a ser dueña de su tiempo y que aquí no va a hacer nada, por eso es que no estás generando, por eso es que no creces. Es bien importante que aquí tú le digas y promuevas que se dedica tiempo, energía, tiempo para conectarse, tiempo para duplicar, tiempo para estudiar, leer libros, escuchar audios, entrenamiento. Si tú le vendes otra forma, cuando entran y quieren tener los resultados, y de pronto se dan cuenta que necesitan más tiempo y su tiempo se está cortando, van a decir, me mintió, me engañó, y lo mismo la gente se frustra. El error número 6 es forzar un rango. No compres rangos. Es algo en lo que yo estoy en contra totalmente. Te voy a decir algo. Si tú no eres capaz de llegar a un rango y luego al siguiente y al siguiente y al siguiente, explícame, cómo tú vas a poder enseñar y duplicar a que lleguen? No toda la gente tiene para invertir. Además, déjame te digo algo. Vas a invertir una vez en un rango y el siguiente mes, ¿qué? Ya no vas a tener el rango. Y la gente también te está viendo porque tú compraste un rango, por lo tanto, mes a mes no vas a generar, nada más lo inflaste. Ese rango no existe, por lo tanto, esos cheques no van a llegar y la gente va a decir, wow, y se supone que genera y no trae. No ha cambiado su carro, no se ve un estilo. Recuerda que nuestra gente ve. Y si tú inflas el rango, inviertes y después mes a mes no calificas, te estás engañando. Y tarde o temprano la gente se da cuenta. Es mejor que tú llegues rangos sólidos, calificando mes a mes y creciendo y empujándote al siguiente y al siguiente y al siguiente nivel de tu empresa. Eso hace que tu gente crea y te siga. Es lo más importante cuando tú tomas conciencia de que tú puedes ir de A a B. Si tú no lo haces, realmente déjame decirte que lo que puede ocurrir es desastroso. No forces ni infles los rangos. Siéntete orgulloso de trabajar desde cero, porque cuando tú lo haces vas a poder explicar el camino. Recuerda que ningún ciego puede guiar a otro ciego. Y si tú no lo llegaste con trabajo y con gente real, no lo vas a poder hacer ni lo vas a poder transmitir. Y eso tarde o temprano sale a la luz, recuerda. Ahora, el error número 7 es desificar. Desificar a tus líderes, desificar a tu producto, desificar a tus compañeros. Es el error más grande y toda tu organización se puede caer. Por lo tanto, aprende a edificar. Recuerda esto, si tú edificas de la manera correcta, vas a ser edificado, porque lo que tú siembras, cosechas. Por lo tanto, si tú tienes algo que no te agrada o algo malo que decir, siempre tíralo para arriba, nunca hacia los lados ni hacia abajo. Y si no tienes nada bueno que decir, mejor mira, quédate calladito. Calladito te ves más bonito. Así es que yo espero que estos errores que son muy comunes en el multinivel no los cometas, y estoy aquí para decírtelos para que no lo hagas, porque esto mata organizaciones, mata crecimiento y necesitamos que tú crezcas. Por lo tanto, hagas el bien sin mirar a quién, y recuerda esto: siembra y cosecha, y lo que tú siembres en abundancia se te dará. Muchísimas gracias y espero esto sea de beneficio para tu crecimiento. Un beso.
So those are the 7 deadly sins of network marketing from Ada Caballero. I just love that woman. She is powerful. She's successful. She knows what she's talking about. And over the course of this second hour, we've given you a lot of information, but we have another hour to go. And I hope it's going as fast for you as it's going for me. But you still get to hear from Les Brown, Luis Purchase, Fraser Brooks, Marina Worry, Antonio Martinez, and Mr. Tony Robbins coming up. But before we get to that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in just a few minutes.